Nothing yet, guys. She was on the plane, obviously, coming to D.C. It's nice to be with you guys. Happy New Year. She's on crutches, but further tests to be determined, whether it be here in D.C. or not till next week when they get back to Connecticut. But it did not look good. Gino, very, very distraught last night after the win, as you'd expect. And it's certainly going to change the way the Huskies play basketball for sure. And another phenomenal effort by them last night, as they just absolutely were aggressive from the start on both ends of the floor. They suffocated Creighton into rushing a lot of shots. Another poor shooting game by the Blue Jays against Uconn. And, you know, right now they're the best team in the Big East far and away. But until they, they keep getting injuries and the rotation gets shorter, which means the pace will slow down. And, you know, here we go again. Just like last year, we're thinning down a roster that's getting thinner by the minute.
How was the reaction to the teammates of Aubrey? We saw it, visibly as Nika tries to run up there and be some kind of support, and Aaliyah trying to give her a tap on the back while they take her off the court. But for the rest of the time there, from the post game on till now, how has the team reacted to this one?
Well, what do you expect? I mean, they've gone through this for 4 years now. It's the same stuff, different day. I mean, they're so, what's the word? They're so just, they're used to it in a bad way. I mean, they're just kind of numb by all this. It's a good thing they have a couple of days off, that they don't have to play. They'll practice tomorrow. They'll practice Saturday at Howard University. They'll do a couple of things on tour, and then take on a Georgetown team that's pretty good defensively. But, geez, I mean, just think of what they're losing. I mean, the most athletic player UConn has.
Yep.
Tenacious rebounder. She changes the paces of a game when she comes in off the bench. Can score with the best of them. When she gets hot, she's a tough person to stop, and she's been really good on the free throw line this year. So it's not like one of the freshmen are going to step in and replace Aubrey Griffin's athleticism. Just not going to happen. So it seemed on the plane they were in a good mood. Last night it was tough. I mean, no players were available to the media, as you'd expect, as their worry was about Aubrey Griffin. So, been there, done that, unfortunately, and here we go again. This is a team that had 14 on the roster when we were in July, and there's 5 kids out now for the season. Now let me emphasize this. Caroline Ducharme has not been decided that she's out for the season, but if you read between the lines, she's not playing anytime soon.
Well, and I think it's difficult, even in the midst of all the injuries, to not feel bad for your teammate. Everybody there knows she was injured in high school, just like AZ Fudd was injured in high school. They all know each other's history and stuff like that. So they're probably, sickened and stuff like that. But I thought that they moved on quickly and destroyed Creighton out of emotions in that fourth quarter. I thought they picked it up. Defensively, like you said, they were even more stifling in the fourth quarter than any other quarter. So this is not something you want to use as motivation, but as these other players roll on, they have no other choice, really.
Right. I mean, the most logical person that is going to get more minutes out of this is Ice Brady. And Gino actually had some good things to say about what she was able to do last night. And she's just got to pick it up now. I mean, there's nobody else that's going to step in for Ice. She's got to go out there and produce and give them productive minutes. I mean, I know she's frustrated with shooting the basketball, but she can affect the game in a lot of different ways. And once she sees the ball go through the hoop, you hope she gets on a little bit of a roll, but, she's got to be able to rebound. She's got to be able to set good screens, not moving screens. I mean, she played, 9 minutes against Marquette, picked up 4 fouls. That just can't happen now. So it's a good way to build off the game on last night. Out in Creighton, she played 15 minutes. She had 5 boards in 15 minutes, so that's a good start there. She had a steal. She had a couple of assists. But replacing Aubrey is going to be tough.
Not to interrupt you, when she saved that ball and Paige Becker's got it, and I don't remember who she passed it to for the layup, but that hustle and that save of that one, and it was late in the game, but it just showed she's got a lot of athletic ability. She's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great hustle play. But that's UConn's trademark, though. You've got to be able – if you've got to hustle and at least go after the ball and try to save it and make a play. I mean, the hustle plays are what UConn's lived and died on for many, many years. And that's just the start. Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic play off a tip. She saved it right in front of us. Got it to Paige, and Paige got it to Ashlyn Shade for a buzzer-beating layup to end the third quarter. You mentioned they built off after Aubrey got hurt. I mean, part of it was that, but Creighton, too. I think they were just beaten. I mean, this is a team that comes out and traditionally shoots the ball very well from three. They make 9 per game. They made a season-low 4 because UConn was just so aggressive from the start. And I think they were just mentally beaten. It didn't, it wasn't Aubrey Griffin's injury that not, turned things up a notch in the third quarter. It was a tough third quarter to watch because of all the fouls. But just the way UConn defended from start to finish, that was the thing that was impressive, most impressive to me, and just how they control Creighton and their 4 best players just continue to have struggles against the Huskies.
Bob Joyce, Uconn Sports Network. He's going to be back on the air on Sunday as Uconn women back in action on the road at Georgetown. That's a 1:30 tip-off, a 1 o'clock pregame right here on these Rob Dibble Show stations. There's so many good things to talk about. This is like the most depressing 44-point blowout I've ever been a part of. But KK had 17. My homegirl Ashlyn Shade had 18. Aaliyah was dominant. But Paige Beckers, Bob, I mean, she's kind of kicked it up even more of a notch and playing on a different level. Like the clip that she was on shooting in the first half was unreal. And we're watching the replay on SNY, and Rob and I both noticed, oh, yeah, that's right. 10 seconds in the first half, she gets another 3-point bucket. I think Paige is really on top of her game right now.
She's been so efficient. That's the key word. Everybody's saying, well, Caitlin Clark went out and scored 40 points. Well, she needed 34 points to get 40. Or 34 shots to get 40 points the other night. Well, Paige Beckers got 24 points shooting the ball. Let's see here. How many times?
12
times. She was 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. She's been good the last 2 games, really, really good the last 2 games against Marquette and Creighton. And I know Adam posted this on Twitter yesterday. I mean, Paige is averaging 24 points a game in games against ranked teams.
Yeah.
And she's just smooth right now. The more games she plays, the more comfortable she gets. She's got a great shot. Everybody was, screaming about the way AZ Fudd shoots the ball. Watch the way Paige shoots the ball. She's got a great mid-range game. She gets that little extra set to hit that 3, and she's as good a pure shooter as UConn has ever had on this team. You just don't notice it much because, of what AZ Fudd does and some of the other great players in UConn history, maybe from a quickness standpoint getting off the shot, but Paige plays at her own pace. The game has slowed down immensely for her, and she's just in a really, really good place right now. And, boy, anywhere we go, the amount of number 5 UConn jerseys you see in the stands is phenomenal. Last night, another case of it.
Yeah.
Minnesota's not that far from Omaha, Nebraska, and even some of the Nebraska kids had number 5 Paige Beckers jerseys on. But
you can't see this because you're doing the radio, but the TV broadcast that I watched after I listened to you on the way home from work, they showed her and like a couple of the Creighton girls from high school, and what she go to Hopkins or something like that. And so there was girls behind the bench that were wearing her high school jerseys. That's how much they love Paige Beckers. I wanted to bring her back up because, when I watch like scores, and Brianna Stewart comes to mind, one of the best defensive players I've ever watched in my life. I mean, not Brianna. Paige Beckers is doing those kind of things now like I've never seen her do. Blocking shots, steals, just all over the court. Almost like she knows I had to do a little bit extra. And coming off the injury as well, I think that's even more phenomenal that people may not pick up. But I think, like Ben said, she's picked it up a notch because she knows we're undermanned right now, and now you're going to be without Aubrey Griffin. I don't know if she even has another gear, but I've been astounded by just what she's doing on defense and messing up the other team.
Well, Paige had 66 steals her freshman year, and she had 11 blocks in both her first and second year at UConn. So the defensive part, she's not afraid to take chances, Rob. And a lot of her block shots have to do with timing, and she's really gotten that down quite a bit. So from a steal standpoint, that hasn't changed. She had 4 of them last night. But the block shots is a little different now. I mean, she's the team's leading shot blocker right now. As of today, she has 17 block shots. And that's just something that comes from playing the game, being a fantastic student of the game that she is, being able to time her jump, being in good position to get blocks. And that's just another arsenal piece of her game. And like I said, it's all about the speed of the game for her. I mean, it never really was an issue even as a freshman. I mean, obviously she was National Player of the Year as a freshman, but right now coming off the knee injury, the game's not too fast for her. She plays at a perfect pace. She plays at the pace that she wants to play and dictates that pace. And with every game, the movement gets better, the confidence is there, and she's such a humble kid. She's so much fun to watch.
Let's talk Nika Mule. She got her 500th assist last night. She had 7 assists, but if you looked at Coach Gino's face on Nika's game, it felt like Josh Allen. Like, she can throw some touchdowns, but she's going to have an interception or two. Now, she can hit some threes, but she might hit the top of the backboard every now and then, too. Like, break down her game and where she's at, because, like, there is some great stuff, and we all love Nika. She's a fan favorite, but there are times where she'll get in foul trouble where she shouldn't be, and she'll have some horrible passes when she's one of the best assist leaders in school history.
You know, after the struggles against Louisville, I mean, yeah, she had 10 assists in the game against Louisville, but she also had a career-high 8 turnovers, and we're thinking, what the heck? Some of those passes just left you scratching your head. And then the previous 3 games before last night, she had 18 assists and 3 turnovers, 1 turnover in each game. Well, there was that sequence last night. I think it was the second quarter, and definitely was the second quarter, where she made 2 passes that left you scratching your head, and then that 3-pointer out of the corner that hit the very top of the backboard, like the corner out of the left corner. She hit the left corner of the backboard, and thinking, how in the world? And they ended up getting a rebound and a score out of it. But sometimes players lose their minds a little bit. They're indecision. They make poor decisions, and that's what you get with Nika. You get the great, you get the good, and sometimes you still get the ugly. And obviously now with another injury, thankfully it's not to one of the point guards and one of the people that handles the ball on a regular basis. But sometimes you just scratch your head at Nika. But she's tough as nails. She's still the emotional leader on this team. She's the vocal majority of this team. And Gino and CD wouldn't trade her for anything in the world.
I hope we get more Creighton Samuels. She shoots the hell out of the ball. She had 15 minutes and 6 rebounds and 8 points last night. She's very efficient, and she's very quiet, though. It's like you don't even know she's out there sometimes, and she's doing so much. Talk about her game and how she may get more minutes.
Well, she played 15 minutes last night, and I just like the way that she just goes out and does her thing. She might be the most comfortable of the freshmen of what she can do, of what she's capable of doing. Yes, KK and Ashlyn have played very, very well. And, they're not, they're going to make mistakes and they're going to try to be perfect. But Cadence is just Cadence. She just goes out and plays, and she does whatever the coaches ask of her, which is right now shoot the ball, make hustle plays like we've seen in the last couple of games. And Gino's very, very excited about her future. He thinks she has a really big upside as long as she continues to do the things that she's supposed to do and develop as a basketball player. But 6-foot freshman, she's got some ups. I mean, she might be the closest thing that they have to duplicating Aubrey Griffin from an athleticism standpoint. But she's not quite there yet. But, now she's going to get more minutes, you would think. So she's hopefully going to make the most of it.
Bob Joyce, Adam Giardino will be on the call again Sunday afternoon.
Debbie will be with me.
Oh, Debbie's coming through. Okay, good.
Hopefully as she gets here.
To heck with Adam.
Get rid of Adam.
Adam's probably got some field hockey up in New Hampshire to cover. That's probably where he's going.
He's at Dulles right now getting ready to come home.
Okay, good. Bob Joyce, Debbie Fisk. That will be a 1 o'clock pregame, 1:30 tip-off with Georgetown. Now, Georgetown's 12-2. But is this one of these 12-2s where they're not playing anybody and then all of a sudden we're going to show up and beat them by 50? Or is this going to be a ball game on Sunday afternoon?
I don't know yet. I haven't really gotten into Georgetown yet, seeing as we flew in today. I'm just starting to get into them, but they're good defensively. But this is a program that's gone through a transition, and it's been a tough year for them. They made a coaching change. They brought in Tasha Butts at the beginning of the year to replace James Howard. Tasha Butts passed away of cancer back in October, just before Media Day. And Darnell Haney is in his first year. He's a 6-year head coach out of Jacksonville, and he was brought in to be the associate head coach of this team before Butts passed away. So there are some familiar names on this team. They got a veteran group. A lot of the kids that played last year Kelly Ransom, Yasmin Ott, Brianna Scott also out there, Grace Ann Bennett. This is a team that's aggressive defensively. They brought in a kid from Seton Hall, Maya Bembry. So they are very much a defensive-minded team. They're tough as nails, and it's not necessarily going to be an easy game for UConn on Sunday. And once again now, you've got to have that mental position, at least how is this team going to be emotionally, not playing with Aubrey Griffin, not knowing that when the Huskies need a change of pace to pick things up, Aubrey's not going to be there to check in. How's Creighton Samuels going to respond to that? How's Ice Brady going to respond to that? How are the other two going to respond to that? I mean, Aaliyah and Paige are playing their best basketball of the season. They have to continue to play that way. If they do, they'll be fine. But against Georgetown, not usually easy. And you would think Georgetown will probably try to dictate the pace and slow things down, because if the Huskies get the pace pushed up, it's going to be tough.
Let me ask you about Gino and the coaching staff. This has got to be a lot on them, stress on them. You know that the women are their families, and they treat them like their own daughters and stuff. It's got to be rough to see like Aubrey Griffin or any of the other girls go down and get hurt like that.
Yeah, and especially, Rob, when the fact that Aubrey's a senior and in all likelihood she's played her last game as a Husky. That makes it even tougher. I mean, he's been down that road before with Shea. He's been down that road with Svetlana Brasimova and a few others. But to see players in their senior year get hurt and unable to finish their senior years, that's when it's toughest on coach. And, yeah, it obviously takes a toll, because now some of the things that they were hoping to do, and they were doing it pretty well, with their 8-player rotation, with the pace of play that they were playing and dictating, they may not be able to do as much now, because you don't know what you're going to get from a more consistent basis from now the 2 players that you can count on off the bench in Ice and in Cadence. So things are going to change a little bit for UConn, and it's up to Gino, CD, and the coaching staff to figure it out. I mean, as Gino has said, he is sick and tired of trying to coach with a hand tied behind his back and more injuries. I mean, it's amazing. They've got 5 players. I mean, most teams in the Big East, this would be a really good starting 5 of the players that are out.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to Gino on Sunday, and we were talking about no more injuries, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And after we recorded the pregame interview, he talked about Jenna L. Outfree, and he said that injury just totally messed his team up from the post-play this year, because from every coach that he had talked to at the World Championships about Jenna, they were just in awe of what she was able to do. She would have been a big piece of this puzzle. Obviously, Caroline's out. We don't know what they would have gotten from Ayana anyways this year, but certainly AZ Fudd's a big loss. So, and now you add Aubrey Griffin. I mean, that's 4 significant pieces to what UConn was expecting to have this year. It's just so tough to deal with, and here we go again.
Bob, because of the recent news and what's been on television the last couple of days, we found out in the studio that you have a striking resemblance to David Tepper, the Carolina Panthers owner. Now, if you're in D.C., you might want to buy a Panthers shirt and just start asking people where Ron Rivera's at, and maybe throw some drinks on some people while you're there. You could get away with it this weekend.
And he'll get fined.
Oh, I thought it was more George Costanza, but that's okay.
No, not even close. No,
at least look, or Kevin James when I had hair.
Look at some pictures of David Tepper.
Then you'd be a billionaire, It's Tepper. You got $20 billion in the bank.
$20 billion. You're worth $20 billion, Bob.
You are to us.
Billion.
You are to us. You're priceless. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, great to talk to you guys. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you when we get home next week.
All right, man.
Excellent.
You take care.
Be good.
All right, we'll take a quick break, come back, do Dibbles and Bits next.
Looks like the roadwork easing out 91 southbound exit 37 through Windsor. You still